In New York, 8 suspected gang members of the notorious Crips gang have been arrested. The scene behind me is one of utter devastation following this morning's confrontation.
Well, officials say the investigation found at least 26 guns linked to the defendants.
We have apprehended several members of the known Crips gang who are now awaiting trial.
This afternoon, the alleged leader of the Rolling 60s Crips gang made his first appearance in federal court.
I had Raymond. He was busy and crying and hollering all that time. You been on, and then when he grew up, were big enough to take him to school. When he started school, well, they, had to get teeth pulled and all like that. And boy, we had to tie him almost down in the chair to look at his teeth, his mouth, and everything. He was something else. He was strong from a baby. Don't take him to a doctor now. He'll show you how strong he was.
When my father and mother got a divorce, Raymond turned the garage into a gym. Yeah, so weight benches, weights. They call it pigger. Yeah, it wasn't Olympic weights. He had pictures of the weightlifters, like Arnold Schwarzenegger and all them. So yeah. And then Raymond was also good in gymnastics. He could flip, tumble, flip-flop. We used to go to Goodyear. Used to be probably 2 or 3 blocks from us.
He was thick because he was an athlete, man. He could tumble, man. He could do all that, swim and do everything. So he was that athletic.
Still track their inner tubes and blow them up and teach us how to tumble because he was very good at tumbling. Swimming. You go to Roosevelt Park, he'd jump off the high tower and turn flips and dive just like the Olympics. So he was pretty athletic.
And him and Raymond grew up together because there's 1 year between him and Raymond. So therefore, he knew more about Raymond than the other boys did because the other boys was big enough to go on about their business and let Raymond and Gerard do what they were doing,
My mother got a divorce in about 67, 68. And so my brother, I'm more closer to Raymond. We was more the same age brackets. Yeah, my other brothers, they had went to the Marines and Vietnam and the Army. So it was me, Reggie, and Raymond left at the house.
We want justice now! Freedom!
It was scary. It was really scary. Really scary.
Well, I remember the night that the riots happened. My family and I, we walked from 84th to 92nd in Vermont. And as we were there, they had Army patrol all over the grass, all over the front grass. They had camped out. They was camping out in front yards. That was in 1965.
And see, I was right there at White Front. I lived at 850 76th Street, and White Front was there on the corner of Central Avenue, the next street, I think, if I make no mistake. And so it was right around my neighborhood. So it was scary. And the police and everything, going to work. Well, I think I had changed from days to nights then. I kept a dog, and that's one time I kept a dog in the house with me.
The riots started, and they start burning up L.A. What was his name that ran the radio station back in the day? And he was saying, burn, baby, burn.
Listen to the radio, TV, they were saying, burn, baby, burn on KGFJ radio station. And then we watching the news and White Fronts was around the corner from us, you know, block and a half away, and it was on fire, and they were saying burn, baby, burn, and National Guards came through with their tanks and military trucks down the streets. And
My brother got ran over by the police on the tracks. They left him for dead during the riot.
Raymond went out to White Fronts, you know, it was burning up, they was looting and TVs and all that. So he come back with a big box of balls, football, basketball, baseball, handballs, and I'm like, damn, you come back with balls, you know, why you didn't bring no Hot Wheels or nothing like that? You know what I'm saying? We used to have Hot Wheel tracks. I'm like, man, you just got balls and stuff. So, you know, I mean, the box full of balls, a big box, like something to wash or dry, go in, them type of boxes, dragging it down the street. And that was his thing. He liked footballs and basketball, kicking them and stuff like that. So.
School was it? He loved school. What was his life in school like school?
I guess he did until he got up some size where he thought he was grown, could do what he wanted to do, you know. I didn't have no trouble out of him until, you know, you know how children do when they get a little teenager. Mm-hmm.
Raymond went to every school in the L.A. Unified School District. And then they kicked him out of the L.A. Unified School District and got to send him to the Valley, busted him out, I guess. Started off going to Edison, went to Drew, went to Reese, all boys school, now it's Bethune Junior High, and Fremont, Washington, Locke. I mean, every school, he got kicked out of all the schools.
Any predominantly Black or predominantly Latino school had to have 70% white principals, teachers, personnel. So if you went to school in LA, 70% of your teachers from the time you were in kindergarten to the time you graduated were white. Mm-hmm. And the reason they were there is because it created a situation where Black schools always needed white teachers. So if you were a pedophile or a pervert, you were dumped on LA, on South Central LA. So your teachers were the most egregiously perverse individuals in the whole city. It was like, after the Watts riots, you either joined the Nation of Islam, you joined the Black Panthers, or you joined, there were a lot of local organizations, Black. Raymond Washington looked up to Bunchy Carter, but then he became the leader of the Black Panthers. Very militant, you know, one of them kind of brothers would have been a general in the army, you know.
Black Panther Party at the time, they had they little set up on 78th off McKinley between McKinley and Stanford on 70th Street. Because I used to go eat breakfast there, you know, on the way to school. I didn't like the school food. And then we have our principal. He would stand at the corner and see which kids going there to eat breakfast, you know. And so we'll sneak and eat breakfast there. They serve better food than we had at school.
After they killed Bunchy Carter and John Huggins at UCLA, the Panther chapter in LA didn't last that long. Why? Because they went to Oakland. Huey was trying to prevent further conflict, right? But that didn't mean the Black Panther Party was defunct. That just means the leadership was removed to a safer location. That's all that meant. All the people who couldn't move to Oakland were still stuck right here with Geronimo. Now that's when you get into the avenues. Go talk to Munson.
Once 69 hit, and see, a lot of people don't know that you know, Raymond was Raymond, even with Munson and all them. He was Raymond, and when he got into it, and this is funny, you know, because this come out the mouth of Craig Munson, how it happened. You know, Raymond was running with Dottie Boy's little brother, and they was sitting around sitting around lifting weights. That was their thing, because the avenues was all them was jailhouse buff, you know, and so they were buffing one day, and Raymond was there, and he fearless, whether he was big, buff, or whatever, he started passing you talk about his mothers and stuff, and Raymond said he was easy with it, and so Big Monster told Donnie Boy, he said, when we get through buffing, I'm gonna knock him out. So Donnie Boy said, man, whatever you do, don't use your hands, don't hit him with your fist, use it with your hands. So after that happened, after they finished driving iron, they go out to the alley. So Big Monster tells Raymond, I want to talk to you. So he go out there, he put hands on him, and once he put hands on him, he said that Raymond, acted a little emotion to that, and he asked him, so he said, you don't want me to join the avenues? I'll start my own gang. These are words coming from Munson's mouth. And so Munson says, what you gonna call him?
I can vividly remember that Raymond wanted to start his own gang, and he didn't know really what to name it, so he was, trying to figure out like a hard, street gang name. So he said, Wildcats, what should I name it, Craig? He's like, I don't know. They were talking about all kind of different names like Wildcat and Gladiators or whatever. And then he used to sneak in my brother Reggie's, the Levi's and Copes, windbreakers. And he said, man, call it Crips.
We always knew. They said at first it was his brother was, on crutches and what have you.
Yeah, he said, yeah, that's what I'm gonna call it, the Crips. So he had sneaking Reggie clothes while Reggie gone or going to sleep. And Reggie saw would put Crip in his initials, his initials Crip with a Q-tip and bleach. So when he decided to name it, he said, oh, that's what I'm gonna call it, Crips, and it took off from there.
Also have to remember that this area that we were living in, a lot of whites were here. So we had a lot of problems, spook hunters, all that.
But the Panthers still was here when Raymond and them started on the east side. That's why the main Panthers know Raymond, Kenny Carter, all of them, because they were going into them centers. And so, yeah, the Panther Party affected a whole lot of groups. The gangs before the Panther Party were more like clubs. The gangs after the Panther Party was straight military army, fresh out of the weightlifting club.
Since Martin Luther King died, Malcolm X, Fred Hampton Sr., all our leaders died, we needed a leader. And we just came out of the civil rights movement, so we needed a leader. They was killing all the leaders, and they still are, so we needed him, and we were loyal to him,
Craig came by, but if anybody come by and be during the day while my mother be gone to work, when she was working day shifts, but she didn't mind Craig coming by, stopping by sometime.
When I leave to get in my car and go to work, Craig would be somewhere on the corner watching me. And when I leave, that's when he'll come to the house and they'll do getting together and planning things.
Every day when my mother go to work, Craig be down the street waiting, and when her car pulled off, he'd knock on the door, and him and Raymond be in the living room. I'm getting ready for school, so they be in the living room talking about the activity that they had done the night before or the day before,
Craig Craddock, he would be a part of the crew. He was a young kid, tall, athletic kid, light-skinned, could sling them from the shoulders.
My older brothers, my older two, Nana Ray and Ronnie Joe, they wasn't there. They were serving in the military at the time. Reggie was there, but he worked graveyard at Winchell's Donuts, so he might have been in the room asleep. If it wasn't during the time he had got married, he left for probably about 70, 71. He got married and started his own family.
Raymond Washington and Crazy Crip. Yes, they came to me. That was the first time I ever heard of a Crip, period. He met Crazy Crip in YTS. And yes, Crazy Crip was from Texas, and he was a square at first until he met Raymond. They met in juvenile hall, and after that, he was on. And he was bow-legged, he was left-handed, and couldn't nobody whoop the man. Crip had already came and, oh, you gonna beat bitch over here. This is how Crazy Crip talk. I was like, nigga, I ain't doing that shit. I'm low rider, nigga, I'm low rider. Because my brother had a 58 Chevy with suicide doors and green metal flake. And so Crazy Crip was like, well, Raymond coming to meet you today, Cheetah, and you better not go nowhere, right? So I stayed at home. I was like, fuck it. So Raymond came, him and Raymond walked up. Crazy Crip came to the door and called me outside in Miller Street because my daddy didn't let nobody in our yard. So I went outside in Miller Street, and so he was like, Crazy Crip was like, Raymond, this Cheetah, this one I'll be telling you about, got hands and be beating up everybody. And he was like, well, my name is Raymond, very respectful. He said, I want you to be at a meeting. I said, huh? I said, I told him I'm not a gang member, right? He said, no, can you just please be there for me? I want you to be there. He got you, and he wants you to run this over here. Be at Locke High School at this time. We were at Locke High School. Everybody that Raymond had and appointed to be on his team was at Locke High School in that field. In that field, he sat down, he talked to us. You know, he told us what he was trying to do. You know, he was trying to get a group together because he already knew Rosie Greer with Fast Black. So he had already made his status of who he was. So he was just getting this crew together. And he was telling us, Irene Clark, all the girls that he knew that could fight, we all went. And we was for it. I liked it action. This wasn't, everybody could come to this meeting.
Well, I used to try to follow him, you know, like him and Craig. I'd be going somewhere up to Fremont, and I'd try to follow him, you know, sneaking to follow him, hiding down the alley, and they'd be throwing rocks at me, you know, so I won't, you know, to keep me away. They were going to do something sneaky. I don't know what it was, but he'd throw rocks at me when I'd be trying to follow him down the alley, and they'd go different directions and meet up, and, you know, then they'd lose me, you know.
He was making gang members. He was recruiting. And it was special people that he recruited. Everybody couldn't come there.
He didn't really want to see no family members involved in it, you know. So he kind of done his activities away from the house.
Raymond Washington drug the Crips to the street.
At 2:45 every day at school, we would stroll from Henry Clay 245 down Western, you know, putting on guys, you know, disciplining, whatever. And a guy ran down from Imperial and Western out of breath. You know, hey, man, the Crips up there, man, Michael Christian and Lonnie Keelan, they up there. And they looking for Mike Conception. So when I heard that, you know, we was already mobbed. You know, we was already active, putting people on DP and people get in the smack gang. So we rushed up there, and they was there, and a big commotion. And like I said, it was too many of us, and they had to back off. That day at the Rio show, after we had a rival fight with Michael Christian and Lonnie Keelan, Raymond got word. So Raymond came up to the Rio show that Sunday. And when he did, it was during intermission time. And we all came out to the lobby. And Raymond was standing outside, across the street from the Rio show. There used to be a bank there. And he was standing outside looking in the show. So, you know, we didn't know whether to be ready for him or to, you know, or what, you know. But he was standing out there, you know. And so when I was standing there watching him, and Eric Williams and Conrad were standing right beside me, and they said, "That's Raymond Washington." You know? And Conrad said, "He's a fighter." You know, we was fighters, man. You know, we waiting on a fight. You know, so when Eric said, you know, that they had got into it, so we knew who they were, you know. So we all went back to the show. And they was in a 57 lowrider Chevy, lowrider, front and back. They parked that around on the side of the show and walked out to the front. We go back into the show, you know, we all blasé and everything, you know, Crips and Criplets, not at the time, but still neighborhood. And he walks in, he walks down the aisle. He pushes up in the aisle across from me, Louis Conception, one of the Cook brothers, and Big Lurch and all of them. He stops right there. These are all the big homies now. You know, we all still 14, 15 years old. They almost 18. They surround him when he walks down. He say, who are the Crips? I mean, who are the Smacks? And the whole show just stood up, you know. And then the second thing I know was said was my perception. He said, well, we shouldn't fight, we should join together, you know. So at that point, we scheduled a meeting at Washington High at 5 o'clock that Monday. And when we got to the meeting, Melvin Hardy, most of everybody that was original Smacks, you know, had met at the Washington on the gym field. And after the meeting, he says, who y'all want to pick for a leader? We was deep. We was deep that day at the meeting at Washington High. We had all our original Smack crew there. Melvin Hardy, Warlock, Archie Crump, the Moody's. We walked from 113th at Melvin Hardy's house. We walked from there. We met there for the meeting, and we walked down Dinker into Washington High, into the football field. And Raymond was standing there with Berta Swan, Eki, number 1, and Hatchet, and a few more.
Yeah, a lot of people follow behind him, you know, come up to the schools. He have 15, 20 people with him, behind him, even in junior high. You know, they'll come, but there's something going on. All of a sudden, hey man, your brother Raymond up here got 15 to 20 dudes behind him, you know. So he's just coming through to show their dominance.
Dre Craddock was with Raymond at the meeting, the first meeting we had with them, and we called that Crip conglomeration, and with the east side and the west side. That was the first meeting, 1971. That was the first meeting. Well, at the day of the meeting, we went to Holly Park. We all strolled to Holly Park, and I remember this day like it was yesterday. Big Lurch, he's one of the reptiles of the neighborhood. He was standing there. Raymond called him out, checked him real good, you know, and we just went on. And then after that, you know, Raymond took to me. We started hanging around. I introduced him to all of the people in the hoods and, you know, everything. And we out in Hawthorne. And we over to Linda McDay's house. Linda McDay, Cheryl Bradley, all of them. They was some of the girls that hung together. We all over there. He introduces himself. He says, y'all ready to Washington leave the east side? And this barefoot Pookie, he's leaving the west side. You know, like it was yesterday. We had mandatory meetings, you know, and we would talk about what we were going to do that weekend, what we was going to do, what we were going to the consuls, or whatever we was going to do. And Raymond would do this on all sides, Compton, east side, and the west side, you know. And we just came real tight with the east side and Compton after we joined the Crips.
It was founded in 1969, and Raymond met Tookie about 71, maybe 72.
Well, Stanley was doing time in YTS. He came home after we had the meeting at Washington, you know, and then when he came home under Bob Simmons, you know, Compton. Bob Simmons went to court for him, and when he went to court for him, he was under tutelage of Bob Simmons. That's when he went back to Brookings. When Tookie came, was introduced to us, he came to Melvin Hardy's house, very humble, you know, nice, likable. You know, we all took to him, you know. Raymond didn't have no problem with nobody. It was a word going around, what I'm saying, once he got home that, he was gonna try to go up against Raymond, and the little clip that they showed with Raymond and Tookie coming together and all that, and they joined together. No, it wasn't that. Tookie was trying to, go against Raymond. He was trying to call Raymond out, but Tookie wasn't no fighter. He definitely couldn't deal with Raymond, And when we came together that day, Tookie had smiles on his face, because Raymond would tear into him. He was serious about his, So, and that was the name of that.
Well, at first, both of them being, they were kind of tense and shit, because even Tookie was tense with my baby daddy, and they all came together. It wasn't like they were foreign to be against each other. They wasn't trying to be like that. People wanted that. People tried to make it happen like that, but it just didn't happen. Because Tookie did this, and the niggas surround you. Gerald hit a phone, the park is full. Raymond, he ain't gonna do nothing but throw his hand up. Niggas gonna make calls to him. So niggas couldn't do that back in the day. And they mad about it.
Really, it was just like telling people I was kin of Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? I mean, every day, I tell somebody coming after this, Raymond, watching your brother. And I'm like, yeah, and then they'll go tell their friends, and their friends will come and ask me. And I got to the point, and I'm like, who is Raymond Washington? Didn't he start the Crips? Oh, yeah, I heard of him before, because I didn't know, what type of enemies Raymond had. So I didn't want to put myself in danger either,
I met Raymond Washington in 1970 in a small park off of Manchester called St. Andrews. Well, I told little Took that I wanted to meet Raymond, and he had came over and told me that Raymond was up at the park. They're gonna have a meeting up there, his little Took's little brother. So we got on our bikes and we rode up there, and I got to see Raymond for the first time. And I told him that I wanted to be initiated, and I let it be known that I wanted to be a Crip. I wanted to be initiated. And Raymond started laughing, and he said, well, there's no initiations, gonna be taking place today.
When I first met Raymond Washington personally was in 1971. It was at Sportsman's Park. He was playing basketball. Tookie and Blackie decided that they should dispatch me to him because my street was closer to his side. That's when I met them. So after that, they sent me to Raymond. And so we met him at the park. And then my second time I seen him, I was coming from Blackie's house, which is south. I'm coming north from 102nd in Vermont. And I see Raymond mobbing down the street, coming from east to west, going to the park with about 150 children, and he in the middle of it, up in the air with his hands like this. So he see me, and he screams at me, and I runs over there, and so I start getting introduced to all the East Side people. And David, that's Hatchet, and all them people. Bonnie was with him, I always knew Bonnie. And so we blocked the street, and looted the store on Western, had a football game, East Side versus West Side. Had a good time. We became this riding group because we had vehicles. So Craig Raddock, all them. You had the crew, and then you had crews. But Raymond had like the crew was a football team. Craig Raddock, Blackie, Buck, all them kind, and they were like armed vehicle corps.
Matter of fact, we were so close with Raymond that he caught a case. He was at juvenile hall. Me, Melvin Hardy, Warlock, all of us. We caught the bus to go to Central Juvenile Hall, to back him, So we always, it was all, he always been, called it a leader, called it the godfather, whatever. He was always that with us.
Do you remember what year he was in juvenile hall?
Just 71.
71.
71.
Okay, so y'all just became Crips.
Yeah, we just became Crips. That's how loyal we was to him.
That's where we ended up eventually on 76 and Wadsworth. And that's where I met Raymond, because he lived next door, the third house from the family. And like I said, when I met him, I was sitting on my porch playing with one of those, you know, the BB guns that you can cock back, look like a 45. So I was shooting it into the grass. So Raymond walked out the house and looked at me, he stopped. And then he said, "Who are you?" I said, "I just moved here." Right? And that's when he told me, "See, I'm Raymond Washington, leader of the East Side Crips."
What years when you lived next door to Raymond?
That was in, like I said, the early 70s. Yes.
Describe the neighborhood during the early 70s.
That neighborhood looked good. Now, if you go over and look at it now, it looks horrible. When I came aware again when I met Raymond. Because when he said he was leader of the East Side Crips, and I heard of the Crips, right? But I didn't know I was living next door to Raymond. I did hear of Raymond Washington, but I didn't know I lived next door to him. So, to me, as he started coming out the house, he'd speak to me and stuff, he became cool to me. And like I said, he got me out of a jam, and I mentioned this a while back. I had a CO2 pistol and I was shooting it through, they had a tree in it, Raymond had a tree in their backyard. And I was shooting through the tree, but I didn't know I was shooting the house over windows out. So the guys who stayed there, I guess they were adults. So they came out, because I did shoot their windows out, and they wanted to jump on me. So Raymond walked out the backyard and he seen us arguing and yelling at each other, and he looked at me and he asked me what happened. I said, "Look, I shot their windows out by accident, you know, shooting through the trees." So they were still trying to make an issue out of it, and Raymond wolfed on him and made him back down. You know? So I said, "Well, he ain't that bad, you know?" But he made him back down. Because I wasn't trying to fight no adults and I was a teenager.
He didn't like Raymond the type. He didn't like nobody being bullied and, you know, taken advantage of.
Big Crowbar was kind of picking on my mother and my aunties. So they called my dad. My dad tried to run him off the road and beat him up. You know, but Big Crowbar, rest in peace, he a little bitty guy though. So pretty sure he couldn't mess with them hands anyway.
And so you mad about the real history? Because if you knew about gangbanging in our history came to take care of our neighborhoods where people was coming in robbing our elders for their 1st and 15th check, and Raymond made that note, we're gonna take care of our own hoods. Ain't nobody coming to rob our elders. That's what Raymond put down. Now ask everybody about that, and we start securing our neighborhoods on the 1st and 15th, motherfuckers wasn't coming to rob our elders for their checks.
If I was getting chased by the police or whatever, I could run to any neighborhood and find sanctuary. As opposed to now, you run to somebody's neighborhood, you don't know if they're gonna kill you.
So with that, Raymond's whole thing was protection in this section. If I can get this protected over here, we gonna be all right. So it started to go like that. And so we started to go to the east side, and it started to be about that protection, and everybody up under one roof, under one common goal. Protection, protect your area.
When we was the little Negroes, if I can't whoop you, I know somebody who can. I ain't got no shame, and I'm going to get it. Then I'm the same group of people who they developed. He taught me how to punch the bag. He taught me things. He taught me things.
You know, we would wrestle them. You know, we would all try to jump them at the same time when we'd be at the park. He would be flipping us. He was stronger than us. And he would get us in hoes and scissors and put the knuckles in the ribs and make you say you give. But, you know, he was like a big uncle. And other gangs would be up there. We usually go up there and fight. You know, Raymond didn't like guns. But, you know, I didn't mind having one sometime.
Crip wasn't never no losing thing. You gotta remember, we started out as a bodybuilding group. And in order to be in bodybuilding, you wanna see results. So this is the mind. And then he was seasoned in that particular developing things and organizing things. He might not know, we didn't know. We know about Q's.
He used to run around and organize. He's an organizer. I took over Crenshaw and was flipping it in a Crip school when Buddha had sent me up there in 72. Craig Craddock was mobile, so he could move around. He had an orange Camaro. Love Raymond, you know, they were Ace Coon Booms. Now, first thing they going, well, you were organizing for evil. We're not talking about if it was for evil or good. We're talking about the skill of being able to organize. We can't be matched on that. They were more mobile. That's why Raymond was able to come and organize the West Side, because he was able just to, you know, bounce over there and hold a meeting, call a meeting. Raymond says there's going to be a meeting, and he shows up to the meeting. He's like overseeing the meeting, you know, showing us how to have a meeting, you know, and what to talk about in the meeting, you know, with the focus, who we're going to focus on in the meeting.
The 4th, 5th grade, we started hearing about the Sentinel Park meetings. And, you know, you got to go to Sentinel Park. So we trying to find out where Sentinel Park is, because we wanted to ride our bikes at the Sentinel Park. So we followed the homies to the meetings at Sentinel Park. We found one person found out what Sentinel Park is. I know where it is now. We're all on our bikes riding to Sentinel Park. We're not a part of nothing, but we want to see the Crip meetings. Then we started hearing about, to be a Crip, you had to have a pet bull. So we like, okay, we got to get pet bulls. You know, it wasn't true, but these are just stories as a kid you hearing. And we know you had to have a leather jacket. So by that time, leather jackets had died out. So you had to have a blue rag. You had to have a pet bull. It was just little things that we as kids was hearing.
But Raymond would come up to Washington. He would either come in a Monza or he would come in a 53 Bomb. Those were the two cars I remember he had. And PP had a 61. So they had cars, you know, back at this time. We at home after I'm a Crip, and so one day this car pulls up in front of the house, a 53 Bomb, and the horn blew. So my mom said, your friends are out there. So I go out the front door, it's Raymond and Tookie. We were in a 53 Bomb. We wasn't going too fast. And Raymond, he didn't like to modify the inside of that car. So when you was in the 53 Bomb, you felt like you was in 1953. You know, it smelled like 1953, you know, the seats, mohair and whatnot, you know. And the car was cool. It had like a little dim light on the dash to light up the instrument panel. And I can remember just being in there feeling cool as fuck, you know, in the back seat, you know, and Tookie in the front. And well, back then everybody had 4-tracks. So he had a 4-track in there, and we were jamming the Ohio Players. You know, I remember that. We were jamming. Tookie and Raymond and our relationship formulated through meetings at the park, through being at house parties and watching each other's Crip demonstration. Like maybe I would see Tookie fighting 2 or 3 guys or trying to take a gun from someone, or I would witness Raymond, you know, standing his ground with someone, and then the other homies would watch me, and they would see me doing something that I didn't know they had took notice of. And then after a while, the guys gravitate toward each other whose gang activity, you know, is on the same level, got the same amount of thug in them.
Some of them sound bizarre. I know you probably ain't heard this, but if you look at it as children, you can see. Really, Raymond and Tookie thought they was gonna take over the world.
Yeah.
That's not crazy. Some of them was working on it too, had encyclopedias all in the kitchen and stuff, researching great people. Thought I was weird. But people don't like to say that because that don't. But then as you keep looking at it, whatever you think you are, you might can mold yourself into that.
Yeah.
Because it started with a weightlifting club. So these people molding themselves into something and learning secrets like, oh yeah, see, this is me before and after.
Is your Raymond's father, is he still alive? No. Oh, okay. Yeah. Did he ever try to get back in Raymond's life at any point?
Oh, well, yeah, Raymond found his daddy. You can bet that for sure.
Oh, he found
When he got big enough to know who his daddy was, he found him.
He found him?
Yes, he did.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. He found her.
Well, he didn't know where he was living until somebody, I guess, he kept asking questions about his daddy. I guess.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, he had found his daddy.
He said, look here, I'm gonna find you.
He found him too.
And what happened during the meeting when he found him? Did he knock on the door? Because I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know, he went to his house. He found me. Somebody got him to his house. I found out from somebody else. Then I questioned him about it, and he told me, yeah, he found his daddy. He went to see who his daddy was.
He started messing with his first baby mama, Pee Wee, off the west side, you know, and he had a couple other girlfriends too, you know, from our hood, you know.
She stopped banging. Once I was born, she stopped banging. You know, she was just, you know, the homegirl. She wasn't out there in the streets no more. She started working and everything.
He's dating Kyber's sister, so he would always go see Laverne. So Laverne and them lived on the corner. So I said, damn, Laverne, you the one that got the leader of the Crips now, huh?
You know, I never seen him, but brainwashing. I mean, he reminded me of Al Capone, because I looked on his face. He got a scar across his face. You know, nobody talks about that today. You know, he had on baggy slacks, biscuits. He had a waistline, a leather coat on with a suede collar and a brim. Real gangster, man.
Well, he loved his khaki suits. You know, shirt and pants match khaki suits and Levi's, biscuits, Romeos, Kroger sacks. You know, Chuck Taylor All-Stars. Yeah. You know, he just dressed regular with a beanie or apple hat or Ace Deuce when he wanted to go to a record hop or something. He'd put on the Ace Deuce.
You know, so we started wearing canes and brims and tailors and all the rest of that stuff, you know. And writing on the wall, Crips, C-R-I-P-S, writing it on the wall. You know, it wasn't that it came out in 1972 during the Palladium murder. We had already been using the word Crips and the style. Well, you know, we come from upper class, you know, middle class family. You know, we was dressing. You know, we was always dressing, you know, because during that time, you know, you had all the events, the Jackson 5, all the forums, you know, all these different associate events, you know, to come out, you know, so we was dressed.
We wore our blue rags. You had a blue rag around your neck, in your back pocket hanging, out the front pocket, and we had blue shoes. We were blue, all blue. You couldn't catch us in red. Now that I'm grown, I wear it.
I used to wear my fedoras, my suits, my Stacey Adams. I used to dress.
Just like, for instance, he might go rob, you know, and he'd come with a pocket full of money, you know. He'd go like, hey, come on, let's go to up there on Forest and Compton, you know, get you some shoes or something, Kroger sacks, biscuits, you know, and if somebody with me, like a friend, if he buy me something, he gonna buy them something too. That's how he was. He was like a Robin Hood, you know. Live from the rich, get to the poor. So what I'm saying.
Hey man, leave me alone. Leave me alone, man. I'm not trying to play. Stop messing with me, fool. Stop messing with me.
Well, I heard that he brought his girlfriend from the drive-in. I guess it was the Vermont drive-in at the time, and they stopped by the store, and there was a guy that was at the store that, you know, he used to bully, from what I hear. And when they stopped by the store, Craig got out and was messing with the guy. And he told me, Craig, leave me alone. I just lost my money. I guess they were gambling at the corner of the store. And Craig kept bothering. He said, man, I got a gun, from what I hear. You know, leave me alone. I guess Craig kept bullying him or whatever, and he pulled out the gun. And from what I heard, Craig said, well, shoot me. You know, you pulled it out, shoot me. And bam, there it went from there. He shot him, you know. The next day, we all heard that Craig had got shot at the store on 78th and Central. You know, everybody took a blow in the neighborhood from it, you know, it was hurting.
When we was in the guidance center in the penitentiary, we watching some movie, and they got all these, you know, grown people in there, supposedly big giant gladiators. So the Aryan Brotherhood figured like they gonna stand up and challenge the blacks. I'm what, 18, Raymond 20, 21. All these big superheroes you hear about in the pen, they're supposed to be more wise and mighty than the little stupid Crips. Ain't nobody stand up for the race but Raymond. One person. A little short one too. He the one stood down and represent the race for that. He the one challenged them. He stepped to him.
The position I took about the BTLs, if you didn't join them, you became an enemy. You became their rivals by any means. If you was black, they expected everybody black to be up under the umbrella. And when they saw the first wave of Crips that came in from Raymond, the first wave, I think James Miller and Ajax and Baby Rock then was probably the second wave. And that's why the Vanguards was created, from my understanding, by the BTLs as a front line.
When they locked us up, like, man, what are we really about? Especially after Raymond stood up to the Aryan Brotherhood and the BGF didn't stand, and the movement didn't stand, and we the youngest people in there, we like, we must be the greatest. Because these were big people, Raymond about this tall. These were giant clansmen. And I know that I can't whoop everybody, but it looked like all y'all was cowards, and this one dude stood up, and not one of them set him down and shut him down.
After the fact that they didn't like him, they couldn't turn him. He spoke his mind. He was his own man. He was tough as nails. And it to a point where they hated him. And they needed to get rid of him.
You know, reception, a 90-day ops. So Raymond goes to Tracy. We go to YA. Tell you why, some of the wise old dudes are saying y'all need to stop acting like y'all grown, because they gonna throw you in a big giant hole up there and y'all too stupid. Because we do stuff that will put you on death row quick. That's why we was the first Crips going up there at early ages, 17, 18 stuff. We didn't have the concept of there's consequences. So some of us played dumb and they sent us to YA. Because we wasn't going to get out if we was carrying on the way we was carrying on, because we carrying on for life. And Raymond don't back down. You don't back down.
When I do something wrong, you're trying to be just like Raymond. I got so tired of hearing that. So when I seen the tears come out her eyes when she found the weed and stuff, I said, I'm going to change my life and go to the Army. And that was the best thing for me. Then I used to always think, like, do I want to be like my brother Ronnie Joe, Donna Ray, Reggie, or do I want to gangbang like Raymond? So, you know, have a family like my other brothers, or do I want to be like Raymond, be a gangster? So I made my mind, I said, I'm going to go to the Army, and, you know, I met my little wife. You know, she was in school then, I went to the Army and changed my lifestyle around. That was the best thing for me.
The Crip Constitution and how they said you were one of the writers for that. You something to, that's what Barefoot said, you were the writer for it.
Well, when you get to talking to your friends and you come up with an idea, they're going to say, you do it first. So that's how that happened. Oh, shit. Then they'll come and follow up on you, though. That part. Yeah. So this is a modified version, though, because they sent this to Mary Brad. But still, it was the beginning of us trying to get our ideas out there from us. And that's why you have to have a constitution. When you got a large group of people, you got to have something to regulate. We used to have word of mouth, GP, general principles. But I was just putting principles down on paper. Purpose and objectives. Well, nigga, you a Crip, but what's your purpose and objective? You know, you have all kind of answers if we don't kind of get some clarity. It took a long while for everybody to agree that we are gonna have unity. And it was the beginning of some Crip literature, actually. And that's what that is.
When you say the acronym for Crips, is there an acronym for Crips?
Yeah, there was when we, as it said, 1973, when we formulated the acronyms. And we was in CYA, and Raymond had went to Tracy. But he made sure we did it because he sent Chico Bell down to check to make sure we came up with some idea. Where here, Raymond, wherever he decided to do, he will mass on you. He will press on you to get it done, because he got other things to do. But he'll follow up on you. He will follow up on you. I got step 2 by Raymond. We had a battle, and I ain't bad enough to be battling Raymond. And that's what we came up with, which was community revolutionary inter-party service. But it was when they sent that this particular version to City Hall when Mayor Bradley became the mayor, Bulldog and them sent him congratulations, and sent him that, they changed the revolution to reform. So it was community reform, inter-party service. And then there was a lot of modifications on that throughout the years. I go to the party, I go sit in the backyard in the lounge chair. So Raymond pulls up in the front of the house. I got the little homies out there with the gats and shit. And so they don't know Raymond, because he been away since the early 70s, so he get out. It's a long time, you know. So he gets out, these dudes is in they crippin', so he gets out and he says, he hears those dudes talking about me. So he says, well, where's Cutes at? And then they said, who are you?
I was talking tonight to a friend of my mother tonight, and she was telling me some things on why older people don't take time out to talk to youth in gangs. And she was telling me things like, that make me think and wonder a lot about that. Made me write these few lines, because I'm thinking now more and more, because if the people won't talk to them, I will, because I know about the ups and downs about gangs, and I'm gonna write about why people don't talk to gangs. I do feel that if you talk to a gang member, it isn't gonna hurt nothing, because they's just like you. And sometimes I wonder, is you like them gang members?
Because what a lot of people don't know, when he came home in 1976, he hooked up with Miss Blue. And Miss Blue, she was from the Grandies. X was from the Grandies. Miss Blue's his mom. And she immediately hired Raymond Washington, Eki #1, to come up to her center, because she was funded by the federal government, and she had an at-risk program at Leimert Park. And they rented a building next to the Leimert Old Theater. And that's where they would hold their groups, and they would talk to at-risk youth. And they would stress upon the at-risk youth not to follow in our footsteps, not to make the same mistakes that we had made.
All 3 of us drove to Texas. Raymond, DeBron, and myself.
Oh, wow.
That was in the 70s.
Did they like Texas better or California?
Yeah, they didn't say.
Yeah.
But if I'm quite sure if they hadn't just kept worrying Raymond to come back, he probably would have stayed longer.
When Raymond came home, that Sunday we were up at Sitnella Park, and they were fighting pit bulls up there. And me and Raymond broke up the dog fight. You know, and then I told him, I said, I don't like watching dogs fight. He said, I don't either. And I said, it's weird how we both, you know, came over here without planning it, and we breaking up this dog fight. I think Raymond realized that it had got really big. It didn't die out, but it's not as
you know, connected with each other as friends like it was before. I think he could see that. I think he could see that there were a lot of attitudes, you know, amongst their divisions. And I think he knew it was too big for one man to repair. And he's a realist. So I think he understood that. So he was pretty satisfied just knowing that, okay, I still got these friends that are like generals in these different sets. So with that right there, I'm not gonna let things get too out of hand. As long as these guys are in place to keep everything in hand and they respect me, you know, for my demonstration, everything's gonna be all right in Crip world.
Eventually, it went over to like, yeah, that is how we was marching through this earth, taking over ground. And don't be ashamed, because we were children, thought we could take over the world.
And more or less, people need to understand that it wasn't just about the gang culture. It was about protecting the community from like the racism and everything like the Black Panther Party was doing. I think Raymond was trying to do that as well with the Crip organization. I don't think he knew that it would get this big like that. So for me, I think it was more or less for the community, you know, protect your community. Because at that time, majority of the black race was on the east side.
At that particular time, I was working for the CEDAR program. And so right before I got paid, I had told Raymond that I was gonna go buy a car, a 66 Riviera over on by Jefferson High School where we was painting the house at. And Raymond was like, I got you when you get paid and stuff. So when I got paid and stuff that day or whatever, I came to the house and regrouped, and then I hollered at Raymond. He took me to go get the car over there by Jefferson High School, like I said, the 66 Riviera. And so we rolled to go over there and get the car and stuff and everything. And then when we coming back up Avalon toward the hood, you know, I'm like, man, I'm gonna go fill my tank up and then I'll catch you on the block on the 4, you know. And he was like, all right, cool. So as I'm up at the gas station getting my gas, one of my homies pulled up named Gary. He pulled up and he was like, Big Wayne, man, Raymond just got shot. And I'm like, what? I said, man, you tripping. I said, Raymond just left me, man. He just took me to get the car. And he like, no, he just got shot for real. So I stopped pumping my gas and jumped in my car. I pulled up on the block, Raymond laying on the ground right there at the apartments. I get out my car and go look at him, and I'm like, what's up, man? You all right? You good? And he was holding his intestines like, like, man, this shit burning and stuff. And he moved his hands and I could see his intestines and shit like. And dude, that was an ugly sight. But I didn't think he was gonna die. I didn't know it was that bad. But I mean, but once you see in the inside, you're like, damn. But I was hoping dude was gonna be all right, but it was devastating.
Right here, no, right here. Yeah, because the Cadillac came up here. The Cadillac put it in the driveway. I know they're driving.
I'll pull it up.
Yeah, put it in the driveway. Right. I think right here, right. Not that far. Not by the people in the inside the driveway. Body right here. Yeah, you got shot right in the gut, right here. Oh, yeah, turned up. Look at that. Turned up, me, Malcolm, we're right here in the courtroom. I did, homie. Remember Mickey? Man, who kept on top of the police car?
Jeremy jumped under the car.
I was talking to you on next term and messed it up, man. I remember all that.
Me, it was no. Our dad #1 rule was never walk up to a car if you didn't know that person. That was a rule that he strongly stuck by. And I guess the day he was murdered, it was a car. And they said, hey, Ray, check it out. So supposedly it was supposed to be one of his friends that had just got out of jail. He thought it was him. He walked up to the car, and that's when the person shot him.
Well, I was dreaming about him that night. You know, I was in a deep dream, and it was just me and Raymond from youngsters, you know, when I was 6 on up until Raymond, he was like 6 years older than me, from kids all the way up till we was grown. You know, the age when I last seen him. And I just seen him like a month or 2 before I went to Germany. He came to my one wedding. And so they came and banged on the door and they woke me up out of my dream. And I was just dreaming about my brother Raymond, not my mother, my newborn baby, my wife, or nothing like that. When they woke me up and banged on the door, they said, you got a brother named Raymond Washington? And I'm like, how y'all know I got a brother named Raymond Washington? I'm way in Germany. And then they said the Red Cross sent a message to let me know my brother been shot, you know. And I said, is he dead? And they said, yeah, and I just lost it, man. I went berserk.
It broke us down. It broke us all down. I seen men cry that never cried in their life about that man. And it wasn't about how he got down, it was the loyalty. See, back in the day, we had real loyalty.
Raymond was murdered on a Friday night, I reckon. It was Friday night he got murdered. Saturday night, I was at the Soul West Club, and these young ladies were in there, and they recognized me. And the lady said, hey, cutes, how you doing? And I said, I'm doing cool, how you doing? She said, did you hear what happened? And I said, no, what happened? She said, your friend got killed. And I said, what do you mean my friend got killed? She said, Raymond Washington. I said, bullshit, Raymond ain't got killed. She said, yes, he did, he got murdered. And then I said, I don't believe you, like that, so. Early that morning, I went on 74th at Figueroa, and where they did the customized cars. There was a dude standing out, I put up on him, and I said, hey man, he was east side. I said, hey man, what's up? He said, man, Raymond got killed. And I said, oh, that's fucked up. So he got in the car and we went down to Raymond's apartment. We went to the spot, you know, right down there. So, you know, it was, it's like anybody you love get killed, you're gonna feel, you know, like denial that it happened. You know, you're gonna feel like, you know, you don't wanna believe that that happened.
I was at home, and my baby daddy called me crying, and we wasn't together, we still best friends. He was like, babe, I'm like, what, girl? He was like, they just killed Raymond, come get me. I'm like, what? He was like, they just killed Raymond in front of the apartments. I'm like, oh my God. My brother Saeed must have rushed over there. Him and Gerald, everybody was there. And we know who killed Raymond. You need to be a man enough and do it, tell it your goddamn self. We know who killed it. It ain't no secret. And if you think because you're older and you asking his daughter to forgive you, I don't think that's cool at all. Because if you killed my father, I'm coming to get you. That ain't cool.
Well, like I said, I wanted revenge. I went looking for a gun. One of my buddies gave me one. We went to there where he got killed. And I went and, threatened a couple of people who killed my brother. And, I just was angry, and nobody didn't know. They just said a car pulled up and called Raymond's name, and he came to the car, and that was it. Shot him, and they bagged up and went home about their business. So that's what you've been hearing forever. And Raymond don't walk up the cars, but from what I hear, that they used another guy named to get Raymond to come to the car. When Raymond came to the car, they said he had just got out of jail. This is such and such, so I just got out, And he said, oh, that's my homie, he just got out the pen. When he went to the car, it wasn't that person.
That was the setup. It is the truth. How you gonna call me, pull up in a car and call me downstairs and I get killed? Come on, my nigga, I know who was all in the car. You call me downstairs, nigga. I'm in the house. You pull up and call me outside.
I'm gonna tell you why it was a big deal, because it was so secretive. Anything that's secretive is always gonna be a big deal because everybody wants to know who did it. And tempers were still fueled, it was still high. And a lot of people was in disbelief that somebody would just do that to them. Just call them up to a car and then they shoot him.
When we was in college, that was the time they killed him. We already hooked up a meet between Raymond and Huey just before they killed his ass. So a lot of people don't know what we was doing because they may have not been around Raymond at that time, or they might not been hanging around Raymond at that time.
Back then, what was told to you, government. Of course, she wasn't saying like government, she was saying the police. You know what I mean? But no.
Well, pretty much kind of like a mystery on how Pop really died.
It is a
Yeah,
mystery.
it
You
is.
are Crip Jesus.
Yeah, they say that our dad had too much power to be a black man, so they had to get him out because no black man should have that much power.
When Raymond got killed, the police wanted all his stuff. What stuff did they want from him?
I had to say this billfold, everything, just about everything like that I had. His letters and everything.
I think about that. I'm like, well, why did they need all these things? Like, what are you guys?
I really believe it was a setup. I do believe it.
Yeah.
Because Raymond was too much for him.
Yeah.
After Raymond passed away, the East Side was like, everybody was shook up for months. For months. Because we had people that cared and we had people that didn't care. And we still care. We still go put flowers on him. Because he was representing something that y'all wasn't even ready for.
So I got a lot of respect for him because he's like my big brother. And as long as he was on earth, I had it easy. And when he was gone, I had it rough. Because I couldn't call him up and say, hey, Raymond, you should have seen him. You know, that's true.
Because that person wasn't gonna let himself be known that he did it. Because you know why? Because he would be killed. You just can't jump up and say, yeah, I'm the one that killed Raymond Washington.
So there was no gang or that spark over Raymond's death because it was a mystery?
There we go. You couldn't particularly blame it on nobody. You couldn't blame it on no gang. Because at the time, there wasn't no gang wars like it was until 1979 with us in the H-Rays, which was strictly on the west side. That didn't have nothing to do with Raymond or East Side or that crew over there. That was us. But him, that's still a mystery because a lot of people don't know if it was personal, vendetta, revenge. So you couldn't get a gang war if you had one individual doing something like that. You know, I mean, it affected us, and I'm young, you know what I'm saying, but it affected us as well, you know, because now we got to go through all the bullshit that he could have stopped. Now we got to grow up in the bullshit, you know what I'm saying? So it's like for that person to come over there, you know what I'm saying, whatever it was, I don't know, however it was, but for me, curse the day. Just being honest, the East Side, I cursed that day, because that hurt. And you see how this has been so long, Raymond been gone so long, and you see how it still affects us. It still affects us.
People loved it, Raymond, and then it was some that didn't like him. But we all loved him from the East Side. I did, and he was my friend.
So I go into the funeral, I sit in the back, I bring Baycock with me, had this other dude with me too. I ain't gonna say his name. And I look at the casket, I see Raymond laying in the casket. And I just was like, fuck, you know? And people were getting up to walk by it. And I got up. And I looked in on him and I said something under my breath. I said, I know you in heaven. I know, you know. I think I said something spiritual. And then we went to the cemetery in Compton, where the cemetery's on both sides of the street. And we were all in a circle. And Raymond was in the casket, and we were all just Crips from everywhere, you know. And that was the last time I think all the different Crips were together.
Ooh, every Crip in town. All of the names, I can't even remember the names. Every East Side, every West Side, everybody was there respecting Raymond's funeral.
Now the Centinela Park meetings, well, I used to always go up to the Centinela Park meetings because it was a Crip park at the time. And it was cool, right? And then all of a sudden, everything shifted and faded. I'm gonna tell you, this is my opinion, why the Centennial Park meeting stopped is when the war kicked off. When that war kicked off, a lot of people stopped going to meetings and they focused on other things on how to stay alive.
I'm gonna tell you, after Raymond got killed, it just went haywire. Everything they just didn't give a fuck. They just start not caring, the loyalty left. Wasn't nobody talking to each other and planning shit no more. Everything was just, they doing their own shit.
Then the H-Rays in the 60s, they went to war. So 79 was a significant year due to the fact it also brought out crash, gang units, and the way they dealt with gangs. All this happened in 1979, basically summer. So everything went bad back then. Everything. And then that's when they started incarcerating a lot of gang members. They started incarcerating a lot of Crips and Bloods, piling them in the prison system. The prison system had Crips and Bloods like that back in the 70s. The 80s, on up was an explosion in the prison system, all stemming from 1979, because I'm gonna tell you why. 1979 caused a lot of people to go to war with gang shootings, attempted murders, robberies, economic problems, but a lot of people went to jail. So that's like a lot of people know. The prison system with Crips, I believe between 80 and 88 was the largest number of Crips in prison. They had so many Crips one time, they was taking them up to a certain prison, and the warden told them to turn that bus around and take them back to another prison. It was too many of us in there. So 79, it caused a big explosion of problems. Because like I said, when Took left, Raymond was gone, and we went to war, wasn't nobody safe.
It was like people that like Crips, you know, and it wasn't like we had rap music to make us feel like we were somebody. We wasn't invited to parties. You know, the police hated us. The people in the community didn't really like us. You know, we only liked ourselves. And then that war at the end, you know, we started, you know, having all this anger against each other, you know, but, you know, I guess that's how some things end up, you know, it just implodes on itself.
Man, Crip for me is not a glorious story. It's full of a lot of pain. You understand? On the street, I don't know if I had a concussion before I even was 19. I got stomped more than twice. You feel me? How I got to college, I don't know. One of them stompings probably stopped me in the on another level or something. So all these people glorifying what it is to be a gangster or a Crip or a Blood. Ain't nothing, some of it was fun, some of it was very regretful. But this was the best thing we did when we did it, because it was kind of like we're leaving at least something that they could see where we was coming from.
After these 4 people are dead, everything changed. The game changed in gang banging. There was no respect. They killing mothers, uncles, and aunties, which we did not do that in our day. Whoever got down with us, we went for that person. We knew where they lived. They knew how to catch them. So we didn't just kill innocent people. And now they're just killing anybody. For what? Because that wasn't our game. We didn't just kill innocent people. We went for who fucked with us. And we were supposed to be fist fighting at the time. And then it went to the guns. The Park Boys brung it to the guns. So we were fighting. We was not trying to kill each other.
We lost some good Crips. And as the years went by in the late 70s, we lost Crips like Salty, we lost Ricky Silas, we lost Mac Thomas, we lost Prior to that, we lost Crip, Craddock, we lost Buddha. But no Crips start dropping faster than toward the end of the decade. And so the younger Crips, they lost one of their generals, Big Rick's little brother. I lost a brother. And Tookie was moved out the theater of war because of his case getting snitched on and locked up. Raymond Washington got murdered. And so it was a time of discord. You know, it was a time of lack of trust. It was a time of sorrow, time of confusion, and it was a time of rebuilding, restructuring. But it was with different people at a different age. But they still wanted to carry on the Crip banner. They didn't want to give it up. And then eventually, some groups did give it up, you know, and as time evolved, you could basically say it's gone.
And where he's buried at now, he gets more visitors than anybody in the whole cemetery. Daily. They said people coming from different countries to come see him. For real? To this day. The person who runs the thing, they said every single day since he's been gone, there are people coming from all around the U.S. to come to his gravesite. And I said, all around the world, the guy said, every day. The only traffic we get here ever is the people coming to see Raymond.
Most of the things that we tell people are actually history, but the people don't know about it. Like, what's that? Just before 79, they had this thing called a long table, was supposed to be for peace amongst gangbangers or whatever.
The Long Table was a group of gang members, 2 representatives from each gang in Los Angeles. And each representative had to be like a lieutenant within their gang. And they had to be able to have the power to influence a conflict, to escalate or de-escalate. In order to come to the Long Table, you had to be known from the street. And Bulldog made sure that we had the proper representatives for each neighborhood.
It all started right here on the east side, you feel me? Believe that. Birth of a crab. This a Raymond Washington story. Birth of a crab. Birth of a crab. Birth of a crab. Stories gonna get told, nigga. You know where I'm from, nigga. Chitty chitty bang bang, east side Raymond gang. Looking at his daughter, shit, of course Snoopy feel the pain. Looking at his son, I can see why he look it out. Daddy started Crip in 68, we still hanging out. East side community, been in progress. Where it started at on the ES. You know what he stood for, know what he meant to us. 814, celebrating Crip showing up. Real niggas see they give cause it's roses. And the respect to salute to you soldier. Me when I was 25, cuz out of 25. Right here on the east side, where your blue flag high, nigga. This Crip, the birth of east side love. And if you from it, throw your turf up. Let me see you walk like you Crip heard. I know the Crips heard, nigga, this a Crip verse.
CR, one eye, one legend, one guy, one leader, no lie, undisputed, no reply. CR, one eye, one legend, one guy, one leader, no lie, undisputed, no reply. CR, one eye, one legend, one guy, one leader, no lie, undisputed, no reply. CR, one eye, one legend, one guy, one leader, no lie, undisputed, no reply.
October 5th to October 7th. All through my city and my set, we be reppin' since 1975. We been on brown rags in the section of sand I call home. I'm an east side baby, young child of the right. While we holla, what's up with it? How can I deny it? It's a real nigga born day. Pull up in your born day. Pull up in your rider.
Hold on to that.
Without God, I could do nothing. Without God, I will fail. Without God,
my life would be drifting like a ship, or a ship without a sail.
We needed a leader. They was killing all the leaders. You know, that was the beginning of the phenomenon of the Crips.
Another S-class.
Man, I'm a East Coast Crip with a swan state of mind, and I'm living like a 60, looking over show lines. Time for the payback, so I grabs me a Miller. Osley's on, they wanna groove, so it's anybody killer. Hit my fellas in the Nella, said they getting it like hustlers, eating fruit whatever town. For the product there's a customer, because of the gangsters and they moving, we pursuing a path to Main Street, which turned our city into ruins. Look at Avalon's car, he got a cabbage patch that he named Stevenson Village, grooming him to rape and pillage, and we from the same soil. The scum of the earth, goddamn, watch the bullshit, you removing the dirt. Whether you by yourself or a family gang, on Nutty's block, in the jungle, on the east, feeling pain. Pay attention, I said tripping about the leave us extinct. A lot worse than any nightmares on raping in the streets, nigga. See, it's genocide, shit is all genocide. See, it's genocide, shit is all genocide. See, it's genocide, shit is all genocide. Genocide, genocide. See, it's genocide, shit is all genocide. See, it's genocide, the shit is all genocide. See, it's genocide, shit is all genocide. Genocide, genocide. I'm on my way down Front Street to give them the biz. They say the court's imperial, surrounded by kids. So on the back streets, perhaps we can meet and discuss 51 ways to avoid trouble and what's been going through us. 40 years in this neighborhood, still no peace. In inception, thought it was protection, now this shit won't cease. Instead of businessmen, the residents invested in self, and the babies on the avenues wasn't getting no help. So they chose to be bishops, pyrus, and villains, and accepted the inner hatred, which only asked the killing. From punching the niggas dumping, from peace to no cuts, from leather jackets and jacket potatoes on Nissan trucks. Tookie going to jail, getting published and getting killed. When Arnold was spot his ass, he act like it was against his will. Scream West Side on the TV to get you respected, but not knowing the inner city ain't getting who you infected. Come on. Genocide, shit is all genocide. See, it's genocide, shit is all genocide. See, it's genocide, shit is all genocide. Genocide, genocide. See, it's genocide, shit is all genocide. See, it's genocide, the shit is all genocide. See, it's genocide, shit is all genocide. Genocide, I was inmate B-46549, and way before the metro, I pushed the blue line. The immaculate conception, or so I thought. So for TVs without reception, I walked the walk. It started out with several members, never forget those names. You know the slogan, if you build it, so then they came. It was water at the gates and they was dying of thirst. So I sprinkled seeds in a man's field, waited for a growth spurt. Like a mad scientist, I watched it expand, but like an accidental fire, quickly got out of hand. From Robert Ballou's death to the writing on the wall. The one big happy family that I don't fuck with none of y'all. Shut down, county town, feeling like prison. Thinking to myself, not what I envisioned. So I leave you with these words on my heart you can hang. All I wanted was chitty, but I got banged.